Good evening, and I welcome you to your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. As I've always indicated, if you need any platform to help you make the right decision, as far as this election is concerned, you have no better platform than this platform. I am your host, Emmanuel Wilson Jr., the Chief Crusader Against Corruption in Ghana. Today, we have a number of things to discuss and to talk about, and so we wouldn't waste much time. But as always, remember that you can always get interactive with us using our social media platforms, the WhatsApp message line or the number for the WhatsApp, send in your messages. And again, the good thing is that you are my guest this evening. And so we're going to have a first segment where we'll have an interaction with an in-studio guest. And then when we take a break and we come back, we are going to have a further conversation where at the right time, the phone lines will be activated for you to also get interactive with us. I'm going to apologize and take responsibility for what happened last week. In that, after the show, I got so many complaints from most of you saying that you sent in so many messages and we did not read them. And it is very true. It was after the show that I realized the number of messages that had come in. But I promise you that this evening, the narrative is going to be different because all messages that you are going to send in, we are going to read it to you. When the time comes for you to get interactive with us, you will also be allowed to phone in so that we can have a discussion that will inform us as to what decision we need to take for the December 7th, 2024 general elections. I have always said that governance is a serious business, and I will reiterate on this till we are done with the elections. And I'm saying it's a serious business because whatever decision you take, it's a decision that is not only affecting you and your future, but it's also a decision that is going to affect even your next generation. You go to the polls or you go to the polling station, you go through the process, maximum 15 minutes, you are done voting. But the outcome and the expectation should not be whether or not the one you voted for has won or has lost, for you to jubilate or to be sad, depending on where you find yourself. The expectation and the goal for going into vote should be whether or not the decision you are taking is a decision that's going to protect your future. That is what governance is all about. Last week, we discussed the manifesto of the NPP. This week, or today, we are going to do the same. This time, we are going to discuss the manifesto of the NDC. But even before we go into that, remember we are dealing with good governance. We are dealing with fighting corruption. One of the things we need to appreciate has to do with the gap that takes place in our, life, public life. And one major effect or gap that we have has to do with the health sector. And that is why anytime I see anyone doing anything, particularly individuals that we are not paying or giving our taxes to, are helping us bridge the gap that is found in the health sector. It is always good for us to amplify them and to also use them as a yardstick to encourage others to also help or come into the system. This evening, we are privileged to have with us a lady I have known for a very long time, and I'm talking about Dr. Princess Ahido. This is a lady who has spent most of her time out of this country, but in recent time decided to come down here to launch an NGO in the health sector. And not only launch it, but she also decided to engage in something that has been of benefit, significant benefit to a community in this country, Ghana. And that is why it is important for us to have a discussion with her to see and to appreciate what exactly encourage her to get into this process. And not only that, and as I indicated, to also remind us out there that yes, we need to expect more from our leaders, but wherever we find ourselves, it is also important for us to brighten the corner where we find ourselves. I welcome you once again, and I want to welcome Doctor to the platform. Doc, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, so we are very happy to have you here, and not only just happy, but we also believe that by the end of this conversation, we are going to inspire some few others to also follow in the direction that you have taken. You did launch an NGO. that falls in the health sector. And the question is, why the health sector?
Oh my goodness, where do I start from? I work in the health sector. This NGO setup was influenced both by personal, professional choices or experience, you know. I was born, bred here in Ghana. I was born at a time when doctors and nurses were on strike. That's a premium.
Interesting.
Yes. I've had my own experience with many diseases, malaria, you name it. And after having extensive education and serving the Western world, I have realized there's a lot of gap in healthcare in our system here in Ghana, especially what we term the underprivileged communities.
Right.
So what best can I do to give back than to set up this NGO, which is aimed at providing annual health screenings, education, and donations of health supplies to these underprivileged communities in a short term. And then in a long term, do them clinics to be able to give them access to healthcare, because I realize that's what is needed most in these communities.
So which community did you start with?
Well, I started off at Kliko in the Ketu South District.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I started in that community is because it falls within our target population, which is community that is severely deprived. As of 2021, the population there was about 170,000. However, there is only one community health center, which is severely debilitated and underfunded. So the community is in dire need of help. Basically, this is a cry for help. And also, being familiar with the region, I have first-hand knowledge of the gap in healthcare. So I figured, why not start from there? However, it's not limited to that community alone. This is an outreach for the whole Ghana.
Right. So, sorry to cut you, but I think this is your team that you went to work with, right?
Yes.
So they were moving from Greater Accra all the way to where? Klito?
Kliko.
Kliko, to go and have it there.
Yes.
Now, it is striking for you to mention that they have a population of about 170,000.
As of 2021.
2021, so obviously, give or take, it has increased. Now, and they have one health center?
One health center that is poorly deprived, like seriously deprived.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Because if you have 170 persons or individuals, let's even say they are 170, in a community, you don't expect all of them to depend on just one health center. And not just a health center, but using your own words, a health center that is poorly managed.
Yes.
How did they survive?
The building was underwater. Maternity wards has no beds, mattresses, pillows.
Wow.
It's a sad scene.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a sad scene.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you being there, what were some of the things that took place during your stay? How long did you stay there? A day, two?
We stayed there for a day. We spent the whole day screening about 400 people, participants, and we were able to screen them for various medical conditions. We were able to treat some of them and give medication to some of them. We also had some emergency situations. You know, we had a gentleman that was complained of knee pain. That was what he came in with.
Right.
However, upon assessment, his blood pressure was in triple digits. So he was a ticking time bomb and he didn't know it.
Wow.
You know, we had a child that had double infection, severely dehydrated, typhoid, malaria combination. We had a child with severe wound infections on her face that we had to put her on triple antibiotics. We didn't have that medication with her, so we had to send somebody to go out there and buy that medication. So we had some emergency cases as well.
Wow.
And we also registered them for the National Health Insurance.
That's impressive. Did they have to pay anything for the services that you gave?
Absolutely not.
Nothing.
Nothing. It's a free program.
So how were you able to fund all these activities?
Good question. All this has been solely funded out of pocket by me.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So
that's impressive.
To be able to reach a wider audience and wider population, definitely we'll be needing help.
That's right.
From both individual donors and organizations.
That's impressive. Did you involve any of the opinion leaders, like the municipal's health directorate, the municipal chief executive himself or herself, the traditional leaders, any of those individuals, maybe the member of parliament or any of those individuals in there?
Well, before we went into the community, we went there about a month or so before we went in there to ascertain the situation on the ground. We talked to the community leaders. We visited the health center and talked to the nurses and over there to see what the need is and what help they have.
Right.
Yes.
So you got them involved, as in letting them direct you as to what needs to be done, what is needed there. But in terms of participating, contributing to assist, because if you tell me that taking care of about 400 individuals and it all came from your pocket, I know that the municipal do have some budget for such activities. Did they decide to help you? Did you request for any assistance?
No, we did not, because they made us aware that they need help. So we need to bring the help to them.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
What a country.
Yes.
What a country. What a country. That's sad. Anyway, so that's really, I mean, by all standard, one of the best things I have seen or I have heard this week. And I'm so impressed about it. That's why we decided that we'll have a bit of conversation about or around your activities. I want to know, maybe as we bring it to an end, I want to know, what are the future plans as far as the NGO? What is the name of the NGO?
Health for All.
Health for All.
Yes.
Not just for individuals in Kleko.
No, not just for individuals in Kleko. This is health for all.
Right.
All of us.
Right.
Every Ghanaian. You know, Ghana is a very small country.
Exactly.
It is unfortunate that I even have to use the word underprivileged when it comes to our health care. I mean, people shouldn't have to choose between their basic needs and a doctor's visit.
That's right.
So I think collectively we can all help to bridge this gap by engaging the community in education and encouraging them to seek help, screenings and medical checkups, as well as providing them with the resources, because people need the help. Some want to go out there and seek the help, but they just don't have the resources.
So what is the next plan? After the visit that you've given to them, the basic treatment that you've given to them, do you intend going back to them, or you want to move to another community? What is the bigger plan? What do you have in mind?
Even though we're going to different communities, we will definitely be following up. And then, so short-term goal is what we just did this weekend, you know. Our medium term is provide them with mobile clinics so that they can continue having access to the immediate health needs. And then long term, build them a health facility that can help them have access to preventative care and continuity of care. Because I've had patients or participants that said they have never been to the hospital or haven't been in a very long time. Some were diagnosed, they had medications that they could only afford for 1 week, so they ran out, and it's been 2 years. And these are chronic conditions that could lead to severe complications.
That's sad.
It is sad.
That's really sad.
It is sad that, I mean, this is a cry for help.
That's right.
Yes.
That's really sad. I know that you'll be moving out very soon, but should any community expect your visit soon? Do you have any community in mind that you want to give them a head up and say that, look, expect us, we'll be coming to you very soon? Or you want to say, Kleko, expect us, we are coming. Do you have any activity line up for the next?
So unfortunately, we have so many communities that need our help. And we don't have one on paper right now, but definitely next year by this time, we should be moving on to the next deprived community.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And we'll reach out before then.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Now, if I give you the opportunity, okay, so these are some of the pictures in there. If I give you the opportunity to talk to Ghanaians, particularly those outside the country who have had the privilege of being exposed to certain opportunities, just like you, what will you want to tell them?
So basically what I want to tell my fellow Ghanaians in the diaspora is that we are the fortunate ones. We've been able to acquire knowledge, skills, and resources. Let's come back and give back to our people. That is what we are known for as Ghanaians. We should be each other's keepers and invest in these communities because they do need the help. And there's nothing as fulfilling as that, more fulfilling than that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
In my personal opinion, and I believe they can all agree.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, it is such an interesting conversation we are having. And as I keep saying, these are some of the things that leads us to ensuring that we have good governance. It is not just about, of course, the leaders, they are the individuals we are paying our taxes or giving our taxes to. And so we need to hold them accountable. But the bottom line is it cannot be done only by our leaders. Everyone must brighten his or her corner where he or she finds himself. And that is the most important thing. And that is why I am so happy, and my team here are so happy that, we followed what you did over the weekend. And we felt this is really something that needs to be, commended. And that's the reason why we decided to have this brief conversation with you on this. Clico, about 170 citizens in there, and they only have one health center.
Yes.
I don't think this is acceptable.
No, it's not.
It's not.
And according to World Health Organization, our mortality rate is 64 years for men and 67 for women. In my opinion, that is not acceptable.
Right.
Because we have so many chronic conditions that can be prevented if only we have quality health care system.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's what we need. Doc, so, we want to say thank you so much for coming. And then we also want to assure you that you have a friend in this platform, on this platform. Politics and Beyond is going to partner you wherever the need arises. And we are going to make sure that what you are doing, as long as we are convinced that it is something good that's going to benefit all of us as a country, we are going to do everything possible that we can to push it. You said one thing, and probably that will be the last message I need you to respond to. You talked about taking money from your pocket. Tell the public, in a sentence or two, what help you think you need from the public.
Definitely, to be able to reach a wider population and to continue with this program, we're definitely going to need help. Both monetary donations from individuals or organizations. We also want volunteers. We need volunteers throughout the country so that we'll be able to reach all the regions and bridge this gap in healthcare. So yes, definitely, please join us into making this big change.
That's right. Thank you so much, Doc, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So viewers, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we move into the second segment, which has to do with discussing the manifesto of the NDC. And as I indicated, you are going to be the guest. But with what Doc has said, you can also communicate with us using our short WhatsApp lines. Let us have an interactive session. Let us know what you think about the health sector of this country. A community of about 170 citizens having one health center. I think this is not the best. And truthfully, I'm sure some of you will attest to it, that there are some communities in this country that have, similar population, but they don't even have a single health center. This is unacceptable. And it reiterates, or it comes back to what I keep saying, that Ghana, as we speak, as far as the coming election is concerned, this is a session where you will know that, look, whatever decision you are going to take is a decision that's going to affect your life. If you take the right decision or you make the right decision, it will affect your life and you'll be able to benefit from it. If you are not able to make the right decision, it will also affect your life. Human beings, our lives are very precious, and that is why you and I need to make the right decision. We will take a commercial break, and when we come back, are we taking a commercial break? When we come back, we will move on to the next session. Stay right by with me, and I'll be right back.
Welcome to AutoCheck Vehicle Diagnostic and Licensing Center.
I hear my car can be checked here without going to Accra.
Sure.
Emission, check.
Alignment, check.
Brakes, check.
Visit AutoChecks at Koforodia Aquadrum Road for the roadworthiness of your vehicle, from saloon cars to heavy-duty industrial vehicles. Madam, your car is now ready for the road.
Thank you so much. Auto checks, check.
AutoChecks, your safety, our priority.
AutoChecks.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural. For bulk purchase, call 0596 273 546 or 0596 273 547. This advert is FDA approved.
If I cry na menyisika, edia ye mefui.
Ehinfa pa na menya bosia, edia tre medwuma yimu.
Kai kra mabre me busia ato taxi fufu. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yema mwakwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hyehyɛ ahodo bi te sɛ dwadifo abosia, ekokro bosia, susu account, and it does wo savings account. Me bada chain savings account, and the akeka ho. Suhum Rural Bank was 03422919896. Na won so what to me aka say.
Suhum Rural Bank. Ama ene mayeka owner.
Suhum Rural Bank. Enti me pa minie.
Me damwase.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Welcome to the Royal Dazzle Event Center. With a lush and well-maintained lawn and garden, you are assured of the best serene and comfortable atmosphere to organize all your family and social events. Live the royal moments here with friends and family. The hosting capacity of 600 to 800 people makes Royal Dazzle the most versatile of places to host weddings, parties, funerals, conferences, concerts, and many more. Create your memories with us. Call us for inquiries on 055-814-8585 or 024-620-2144 or pass by and speak to any of our friendly staff. Locate us at My John, close to Zoom Lion headquarters. Royal Dazzle Event Center, creating memories.
First is resetting the economy for prosperity. In the first 120 days in office, we will hold a national economic dialogue to draw up a 4-year fiscal consolidation plan. We would rationalize taxes, abolishing, among others, the obnoxious e-levy, the COVID levy, and the 10% levy on bet winnings. We will review import duties and levies on vehicles and equipment meant for industrial and agricultural purposes. Ladies and gentlemen, we will rationalize port fees and charges and implement emergency measures to stabilize the city and the macroeconomic environment. Ladies and gentlemen, we will use the price stabilization and recovery levy to cushion consumers of petroleum products. We will investigate the MPP's opaque gold for oil deal. We will review the gold purchase.
Hi, so I welcome you back to your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. And I'm still your host, Emmanuel Wilson Jr. We've had a first segment where we've talked about the health sector. And look, that's the reality. The reality is that there are a number of individuals even outside the country who want to come in and help. And they try to bring in equipment and things that is supposed to help our health sector. And they get in. The thing gets to the harbor and it is stuck there. Either they are supposed to pay taxes or they are supposed to grease the palm of some other individuals before the things will be taken out. Things that are being brought in for free, hospital beds, medicines, and all that, for free, for Christ's sake. But they will be there just because someone is not going to be given a cut or someone is not going to get money from it. And this is all part of the things that accumulates to form corruption in this country. And that is why Ghana seems not to be going where it ought to be. Last week, we spoke a bit on the NPP manifesto. Just this weekend, the NDC also launched its manifesto. And we are going to have a conversation on it, just like we did zoom in on section 8 or so of the NPP manifesto. Yes, section 8 of the NPP manifesto. They talked about good governance and the fight against corruption. We're also going to do the same for the NDC. Now, what I would need you to do is to send in messages, and at the right time when we are having a conversation, when the phone lines are activated, you will also call in. And we want to discuss whether or not you were satisfied with the contents in the NDC manifesto, what you were looking out for, what you thought should have been in it but did not come in, and your general expectation, your general assessment of the NDC manifesto. Corruption fight comes in two ways. You either be a proactive person or you become a reactive person. Over the past years, we've been reactive. We wait for the issue to happen. We wait for the thing to take place. And then after, we quickly do the fire service approach and we say that, okay, let us quickly find a way of resolving it. And most of the time, corruption cases in Ghana does not go anywhere reasonable. It ends up, it's always have a deadlock, and we are not able to fight it the way we ought to fight. And that is why, to a large extent, I think that when I went through the NDC's manifesto, it has some component that is reactive and it has some component that is also proactive. So the strategy I see in the NDC manifesto in the fight against corruption is that they want to, employ the two extremes. They want to be reactive, they want to be proactive in the fight against corruption. And I think that is what we really need. So the first thing they talked about is that So government procurement, they said, is recognized as a significant source of corruption and misappropriation of public funds. We will, among other measures, set up an independent value for money office to scrutinize all government procurements above a $5 million threshold, or as shall be recommended by Parliament. So the first thing they were looking at is that they are going to focus on procurement. And just like I always indicate, even the last week episode, I made mention of it, procurement is one avenue where corruption breeds so strongly in this country. And I have made a proposal that if you want to fight corruption in the procurement sector, the first thing to do is to look at the composition of the board. Look at how the appointments of board members are made. We need to find a way of taking off the political influence, and that is the only way by which procurement service or procurement authority will be able to work effectively. Now, they look at it and they say that they are going to take measures. Unfortunately, this is the abridged version. We are still waiting to get the full document. Then we'll know the measures they are talking about. But one aspect of it which got my interest has to do with setting up an independent value for money office. And the purpose is to scrutinize, they say they are going to scrutinize all government procurement above $5 million. I would have wished, and I'm happy there's a caveat that, or as shall be recommended by Parliament. And I would have wished that the 5 million is even too high. We should reduce it to about 1 million or even 500,000, because you see, it is not just the huge amounts that we lose that really matters, but also sometimes the smaller amounts that we lose, the bits and pieces that we lose without recognizing that we are losing them, they also go a long way to affect us significantly as a country. So yes, I am all for the value for money office that is going to be taken, so that we will scrutinize, transactions that are made. And I have always indicated, and I've always said it, that it is only in Ghana that someone will want to use the taxpayers' money to create a website that did not go beyond 4 years for an amount of 800,000 Ghana cedis. It makes no sense. 800,000 Ghana cedis. And I'm sure that amount of money, if you take it to Kliko, you would have been able to build a health center, a decent health center to take off someone. But yes, just 4 years, that website went off. So I believe strongly if we have such an office, we'll be able to assess every transaction and whether or not the amount involved truly reflects the money that is involved. The second one says, give anti-corruption state institutions unfettered space to operate. And here it goes on to say the clearing agents' days must end on January 7th, 2025. So that is also very, very important, and that is something we need to do. So the first one that I talked about, the value for money, that is a proactive way preventing corruption from even taking place. Give anti-corruption state institutions unfettered space to operate, the independence that it also needs. It is to a large extent also a proactive way of preventing corruption, because if the anti-corruption institutions are working effectively, what it means is that it's going to create an avenue for individuals to know that, look, if I engage in any corrupt practices or practice, these anti-corruption institutions, because of their independence, they will come after us, irrespective of whether or not the corporate has a strong relationship with the president of the day or with any big man of the day, as we want to address or want to describe it. And so that is also a proactive way. The other one says, establish a governance advisory council to help improve political governance, curb corruption, and ensure respect for human rights. The council will include representatives of civil society organizations, religious leaders, traditional leaders, and ordinary Ghanaians. It will be empowered to release a State of Governance in Ghana report every year. And I think this is also something important that we need to, applaud. You see, there are some councils or there are some institutions in this country that is supposed to be independent institutions. Most of it has to do with the civil society organizations. Unfortunately, some of the civil society organizations have also messed up their hands, and so they've been tainted, and so they are not able to operate independent as they ought to. I am praying and looking forward to the Governance Advisory Council, where the composition will make the council independent as it ought to be, so that it will serve as a check, a true check on the governance process that we have in this country. And that is one thing that we need. So this is also a proactive way of fighting corruption. We shall wage an intense fight against corruption to reduce waste and save money for reinvestment in the economy. I mean, wastages, we've always talked about wastages. That one of the things, and that was one position that we held as Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana, when they were going to introduce that levy, that unnecessary levy known as the e-levy or the electronic levy. We said that what we need in this country is fiscal discipline. We don't need an introduction of new taxes. If we are able to save the wastages, the monies that goes into people's pockets, just like fetching water into a basket, if we're able to save and have fiscal discipline, just about 50% of the wastages, we are able to block them. Ghana will be a better country. And I think that is the same mindset for which this proposal in the manifesto of the NDC was made. This one says, the sword of the fight against corruption will cut both sides, or both ways, against past government officials, officials of the incumbent administration, civil and public servants, businesses, government suppliers, etc., if they violate the law. And that is one of the key things. And remember last week, I said this was what I was expecting in the MPP manifesto. Unfortunately, they did not talk about that. If you assess the MPP manifesto, as far as the fight against corruption is concerned, all that they were saying was that, look, whatever has happened, all the scandals that has happened, let it go. We don't have any measures to fight it. We are not going to fight it. Let it go. We are rather going to be proactive and now prevent future corruption from taking place. But if you look at the proposal in this manifesto, the NDC manifesto, it talks about ensuring that they are going to cut both ways. And both ways means that it doesn't really matter where you find yourself, whether you are the brother or the sister or the wife or the fiancé or whatever of the president. If you are found culpable, the law will deal with you. And I have always used this as an example that when you are fighting corruption, one way to fight it is not just by pursuing your opponents, but by also setting example, strong example. Let people around you who have been found to be corrupt face the law. And I think in recent time, there's only one that comes into mind. And that has to do with the immediate past administration, where the president of the day then was able to allow his own appointee to go through the process and was found guilty and was even jailed. And I'm making reference to Abu Gapele, who was even sentenced. And so if you do this, you communicate clearly to your people, especially your appointees, that look, you will not tolerate corruption. And so anyone found culpable, that person, the law will take off the person. I think the era of being a clearing agent, we should let it go, because that is not what we need in this country. Anyone found culpable must be allowed, or we must allow that person to face the law. Let the law take its own course. The other one, and for me, it is also very, very important in the fight against corruption. And this is also found in the NDC's manifesto. That's a measure, anti-corruption measure. It says that the fourth estate of the realm, and it's making reference to the media. The media will also be given the conducive and collaborative atmosphere to operate as the fourth power that they ought to be, without threats, harassment, and assassinations. And I need not say more on this, because we have all witnessed assassination has taken place in this country. Media persons have been killed just because they were perceived to be threats. They were exposing corruption and corrupt practices. In terms of threats, it has been, normal thing for some of us. Almost every 2-3 weeks, we are getting calls, we are getting messages, people threatening us and all that. And I remember, I think I've shared this with you. There was a time where I just decided that I am not comfortable to even stay outside the house beyond 8 p.m. in my own country. And it was just because of the threats that I was receiving. So many threats. And I'm not just the only person. Other individuals who are also found in the space of fighting corruption and are also a bit vocal in this country, they have received so many threats. And so if we really want to fight corruption, and leaders are committed to fighting corruption, they should see the anti-corruption individuals and campaigners like myself and others, not as threats or enemies, but they should rather see us as partners. And so if you have a manifesto that reassures or says that measures are going to be put in place to ensure that individuals that are in this space will be protected, I think it is also something laudable that we need to look at. It goes further to say drastically reduce the size of government by appointing not more than 60 ministers. That is more of good governance. Going to launch an operation Recover All Loot to investigate, prosecute, and recover proceeds of corruption. And this is the reactionist part. And I am very, very, very happy with this. Because I will not just accept that all the scandals that we have experienced as a country over this past 8 years, we will allow them to go scot-free. Individuals involved will be allowed to go scot-free. No, we need a conscious effort to recover all the loots. Look at the state's lands that are being sold. Our gas lands that are going. People are taking them. Look at Trade Fair. Go to 37 where we used to have the DVLA. Just by the police barracks that was there. I mean, go to some of the prime areas and you see what is happening over there. And so if we have a manifesto that reassures us that we are going to have or launch what we call Operation Recover All Loot, I think it is a step in the right direction in the fight against corruption. The other one is to initiate legislation prohibiting political appointees, politically exposed persons, and all serving public officials from purchasing state assets. And that is also important. Anybody who has the opportunity to lead us, be it president, minister, member of parliament, MC, DC, you can just name them. You are a custodian of our properties. It is not for you to be selling them. Selling them to yourselves and among yourselves. Your family members, no, that is not it. And so if you have a manifesto that consciously says that they are going to initiate legislation that will prohibit political appointees, politically exposed persons, and all serving public officials from purchasing state assets, I think it is also something laudable that we should all be considering and be looking at. Because this is, for me, one way by which we can curb or fight corruption. And this is a proactive way of fighting corruption. The last but one, conduct a forensic audit and an inquiry into the $5 million National Cathedral scandal and seek broad consensus on what should happen to the abandoned pits. That's so sad. That is really so sad. And I you spend this amount of money, 58 million, sorry, not 5 million, but $58 million to dig a hole, a pit, in the name of building a cathedral. Only God knows what has happened to that amount of money. But because obviously you cannot convince me that $58 million is an amount of money that we use or can be used to have to build that pit. That's it. Then the very last one, launch inquiries into the numerous scandals that have rocked the nation under the corrupt Akufo-Addo Bawumia, and I think it ties in with the very first one that I mentioned. So These are the contents that were found in the NDC manifesto as far as the fight against corruption is concerned. Very soon I'm going to activate the phone lines for you to engage, and let's have a conversation on the NDC manifesto as far as the fight against corruption, good governance is concerned. But as I promise you, I'm going to make sure that I read as many messages as possible today and keep the phone line active to have as many of you to call in so that we can have a really interactive session. This one says, their failure in every sector of the economy as a result of their dishonesty, corruption, lawlessness, arrogance, cluelessness, and recklessness, among others, are unprecedented in the history of this our dear country. They should never be voted for to come anywhere near governance again in this country. And this is Asanko from Santa Maria. So, good evening, Mr. Wilson. Thanks for updating. I am old man from Karaga, Northern Region. We also need your help. Our hospital is lacking of medical doctors. Okay, so this is a message to our initial guest, that is Princess Dr. Ahido. I'm sure at the right time they will visit you. They will visit you in your community. Ghanaian youth lost hope and future with this MPP criminalism government. We must kick them out come December 7th. My name is Obed Nampo Ponabi. I come from Pru West District of the Bono East region. Ghana is in a big trouble, but I'm okay with Mohammed's manifesto. Okay, so the phone lines are activated now. The numbers to call in, okay, so I'm told, even before I mention the numbers, they are on your screen, but I'm told there's a caller on the line. So, caller, you are welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Rashid Bawa, calling from Shayo Sudoku District.
Rashid Bawa.
Calling from Shayo Sudoku Dodowa.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm even shocked that our Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, one question that was through by one journalist called Belamundi to, answer him. I think, I don't know, it's like the man is confused or he doesn't even do the job. He doesn't even know the job or know what he's doing. So I'm pleading to the people of Shao Sudoku and within Dodowa around that they should also wake up and do the betterment of Shao Sudoku, especially the Dodowa market. Dodowa market is very terrible.
Right.
Very bad.
Okay.
And I'm pleading, if you can one day take your cameras and come and see Dodowa market.
We'll do
it's
that.
Not good.
We'll do that,
Rashid.
Expect us. We'll surely come there one of these days. Thank you very much, Rashid. And then I just don't want to talk much about the Vice President's encounter because I was so disappointed. Can you imagine when he was asked about the death of the 8 individuals during last election, 2020 election? And the only answer he could give was that he need to consult with the police to find out the state of it. Remember, this is a man in charge of the police council. He's in charge of the police council of Ghana. So when they go for meetings as the chairman, what do? I mean, you are the chairman of the police council and an important issue. Anyway, we won't talk about that. Let me go to the good evening, Mr. Wilson. Thank you for your good work. May Allah continue to bless and protect you. Please, do the youth in Ghana really think about their future at all? Because I wonder how serious-minded youth should still be behind a man who says he's waiting to become president before assisting the youth. May Allah grant us wisdom. Hello, Mr. Wilson. Good evening. I'm Dobby Moses, a.k.a. Bible Doctor at Enchi in the Western North. I'm enjoying your show. I really love Mohammed's manifesto for youth. JM all the way. The NDC's manifesto is on point because it is people's welfare based. This is Asanko again from Santa Maria. This is from Reverend Gabriel Adoboli. So there's a caller. I'll get back to Reverend Adoboli. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Good evening, boss.
Say baby aye boko.
Oh, boss, now where are they?
Nyame adome hoye. Udini baby awo frefi.
Yo, boss, me the baba na the frefi soon.
Mate baba. My inti.
Yo, Nyame enshira mo so.
Amen.
Ene juma pa mo yema o my Ghana.
Amen.
Because e bi nyimbre se ina e pentema pon fi juru na ya betina mo television ni tien sempa.
Me da mase.
Wo se we are saying you want to see the way you share my was here and monochrome. Wo se the me advice ni no ana me papa Muslim fu. Yi na ye hwe John Dramani ma ni caliber ni vision. Na won former e wo Muslim mu. Wo se papa wi oba be ye ni manifesto no nko won ko tele de mu an churo oku bia na so e ko yin papa yin fo malamfo obisasi ni ma me no me papa no mo na NDC esimu na so mo suma NDC ache mo nchire me ne a me pese me baba mu a me be de mamu na pefuru ni na ji puniye etna se echire John Dramani mama won se ni manifesto ko ya Saturday ni oda na di echire so ya fa na nyame adoma ye papa ne mama no so mo suma NDC ni o mo bre uye obi a je ne chefe fim. So what I say, this is the kind of leadership I have. What I say, some okay, no, you can from there. They pay me and say, "Go Hajj, go back, we are okay." In their Hajj, in their own political square, and you vice president, okay, or vice president. How are you Muslim? Or could other national chief officer, what is secondary school someone? The war is marriages. Kitchen crowd, we see a man. You my name about no Muntio. What I say, Mumis about me, say, Okoda manifesto. Portion Ben or the Muslim food. As a Muslim fu muji na wensu muchefoni. This is the kind of leader I feel. Onye betenge papa. Semi na me papa no wede pacho meka pete kakra. Iya yena na rokanku. Kuya ku Jamani mama. So ye de goda muna. Allah ya da 24. Aka muko vote me ezo zama president. Musulmai duka da NDC kan ujere kuri ko so Jamani mama inshallah ko waya tire ban shi. Kan ni mu da mata mu da kan ni mu biyo mu muko ke gida. Inshallah. Da Jamani mama ya tenye muso mu ko tire ban shi. Inshallah ke da for Jamani mu ko.
Medase baba. Nyamin sha medase pa. So from Reverend Gabriel Adoboli Accra. He says great manifesto, but my question is I believe that Kleko and Agbozome emerge as one community. Will not NDC government build a new hospital for these communities if they win the 2024 election? Okay, so Reverend Adoboli, the message wasn't so clear, but thanks for sending in the message. I'm sure it still has to do with our initial interview. Good evening, sir. TVXYZ. NDC manifesto was good for Ghanaian. JDM nation builder, change is coming. MPP government can never fight corruption because mother serpents and children serpents are all involved. We need to reset Ghana. Welcome to Politics and Beyond, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you are welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you.
Me pacho be country na brofo.
Bepechi.
Me pacho udini baby afrefi.
Me pacho fremi isako me kasafi kumati pechi na kwa Zongo.
Okay, me pacho bone top amayen. Why? Nkrofo pi wo line so.
Me pacho anytime here you John Dramani Mahama any other mami.
Me pacho omojo so go straight to the point. Why, Mr. O?
Anytime Zongo yeni aji edifa manifesto na okay, you know. Osha young Kremofo. Straight to the point. And it said, had you want some what kind any secondary school eba ediama Islamic Zongo yena yaji. One day called you now what the account which you say would be Zongo for her. Then see your danasi. Now the ethos was young what I said criminal in the manifesto one policy what we was on the Ako. And she has right to one day ceremony and Tessa.
Okay.
It's some brand which I say. Nita was the Nicola so a criminal Tanachi, a chance of way of India. Now, what Tanachi Mrakra as for. And ye then you near to say, man, Muhammad, your policy now would be a 2 acquire mono. yengo for nyina inshallah ya beta ne emeka ne ben nyina no na woni ma ade a esaye nika omo a mo ko pension no ni ni edi mo kasa e obi se wono oji the pension pay kakran wa ko pragia obaye 24 hour we start anapa ya boss sabina obeji no ta dia mani pa fufuro no nso abo duma ma ade achi obanye dobre salary.
Thank you so much. Medase. So this one says, sir, please, good evening. I think number that's depending on Clinical Health Center is more than what doctor has just said. But kudos to her. I am Andrews Alipui Andy from K2 South Agbozome. So it means that we are even more than 170. That's what you are trying to say. And they depend on this health center, the one health center. It's not acceptable. Honestly, this is not acceptable. Good evening, sir. You know the MPP government is myopic. Where they could not even see beyond 3 years, as seen in NAPCO. They are only looking for ways to loot and share. NDC is the savior now. Ghana, arise. I'm Fifi Asinfosu. Good evening, Mr. Watson. Please, only JDM and the NDC government will rescue Ghana. See the way our flag bearer has delivered a manifesto at last week, Saturday. It tells you that we have a good leader. JDM all the way. This is Bright from Brekum, BA. Did I hear you saying corruption monies around 5 million and above are going to be investigated? Please let Mahama know, even if it is 20 cities. Mr. Host, my greetings. Listening to our Vice President during his engagement with the press, I have concluded that he is not a presidential material at all. He is too playful. How can he say that if he should implement some of his proposals now, there will be nothing, no work for him to do if elected to the office as president? Anyway, this is Kwekuti from Accra. I am human. Human Iscariot from Pokwase. I visit Kwewu area today and I'm so sorry for my people over there. Our road network, the one motorable in Kwewu is the one constructed by John Mahama. That is from Nkoko to Mpraeso. All the road network from Mpraeso to Obome, Obo to Trinidurase, again from Mpraeso. Okay, and it goes and it goes and it goes on. You didn't add your, okay, you say you are human Iscariot. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. MPP manifesto is about encouraging the corporate to involve in more corruptions and also giving us a sign of threat and insecure lifestyle we may experience when we vote them as Ghanaians. MPP manifesto indicates how secure the criminal are because nothing talks about them. NDC is all the way and the Mahama will be our next president. Andy from Insawam. Prince Achal from Kumasi. The MPP only trusted manifesto is the Ejapadier book. And the messages keep coming in. But unfortunately, our time is getting, very close. So we need to find a way of starting to wrap up. But this one says, good evening, Master Wilson. I'm watching you live from Somanya, and thanks be to God for making General Seydou arrive in safely for us. I'm Kwejo Dope, inside Somanya. I enjoyed this manifesto than anything else last week. May the good Lord help all of us till 7th December and push this horrible administration to their own pits. They dug, as cathedral. Okay. The youth, we are ready for JDM and NDC parliamentary candidates. This one says the vice president has no message for Ghanaians. They only know how to loot and steal our resources. Anyway, so these are the messages that are coming in, and then I'll surely have to pause at a point, but I'll see if I can add one or two before I finally leave. Now, you remember that we spoke about going deep into the NDC and the MPP manifesto, and also the Movement for Change manifesto, that is Alan Chemantin's manifesto. And the reason why I have limited this platform to these three manifestos are just because I feel and I believe, this is my discretion, but I believe strongly that as far as the general election 2024 December 7th is concerned, it is these three political parties or structures that seems to be giving us something serious to talk about. And so we have officially invited spokespersons from the NDC, spokespersons from the MPP, and then that of the Movement for Change, for us to take sectors by sector what they have for us as far as their manifesto and their plan is concerned. I'm saying plan because that is what the Alan Chairman's movement says. They don't believe in the manifesto, they believe in a plan. And so fortunately, the NDC has responded by giving us a list of individuals who are officially going to speak when it comes to the various sectors. I have communicated with the MPP national chairman. I've communicated with the communications director of the NPP. The chairman responded to me and told me that he has instructed the communication director to furnish me with the list of individuals who are supposed to be their official mouthpiece when it comes to the various sectors. I am yet to receive that list from them. From next week, we are going to take sector by sector to discuss into details what their manifesto says. So if it is health, we bring them the official spokespersons, and then we'll have a conversation. The general election is a serious thing, as I keep saying. And so I'm hoping and believing that between now and next week, the NPP Movement for Change, they will furnish us with those information and those names, just as the NDC has done to us. Any of these individual parties that respect this platform, we will go with the person or we'll go with that party. So next week, we will start with the various sectors. And I believe strongly we are going to have a very educative program from next week. The other thing that we must also be aware of, or we must know or note, is that next week, Monday, Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana is going to have a very, very interesting program. And on your screen, you will see that we are presenting a one-day conference. And the conference, the theme for the conference is the Scarface of Corruption in Ghana. I mean, you can never be to any function where you have these individuals, all of them put under the same roof. You can never have it anywhere. It is only Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana that will be able to bring you these individuals. Let's come and have an interactive moment. So we have Dr. Nyahu Tamaklo, who is speaking. We have Dr. Ekospio Gabra, who is speaking. We have Dr. Bishop Susan Inti, who is speaking. We have Professor Frimpong Boateng, who is also speaking. We have PC Apiofori, Honorable PC Apiofori, who is speaking. We have Dr. Amwakumba, who is also speaking. And of course, we have my own uncle, Mr. Daniel Yadomlevo, who is also speaking. And of course, your Chief Crusader, Emmanuel Wilson, I will also be there. And so it is taking place on the 2nd, which is this coming Monday, exactly 2 p.m. at the NAT Hall. That is the Ghana National Association of Teachers Hall, or we call it Teachers Hall. That is where we are having this conference. One-day conference. We are going to have a conversation. We are going to also look at some videos and some pictures, exhibition. It is all going to inform you on the scarface of corruption in Ghana. How corruption has affected your life and my life over this past period. How corruption is continuing to affect our lives as a country. I invite each and every one of you to come to this program. It is for the public and it is free of charge. It is one of the ways by which we are preparing our minds to make sure that we make an informed decision as far as 7th December is concerned. And so this program is there, and have it in your diary. Don't just miss it. Don't miss it for anything. The date is the 2nd of September, and the time is 2 p.m. The venue is the NAT Hall. Come and let's discuss the scarface of corruption in this country. Maybe one or two last messages that I'll read, and then I'll wrap up today's program. This one says, the Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Okay, so I think I've gone through this one. The vice president has no mercy to Ghanaians. They only know how to loot and steal our resources. Dr. Baumia is not fit to be a leader. If not, how can Ghanaians upgrade a mess? Yesterday, I was shocked when he ran away from simple questions. Questions that even a class 1 people can answer without finding difficulties. He's falling into his own traps. Ejuma Penning JDM all the way. This is Kweku Romeo from Togo, all the way from Togo. Kweku, thanks for doing the watching. This one says, "Thanks, my favorite TV station ever and my favorite show, Politics and Beyond." Yesterday, we were told that we're going to upgrade this country. That was yesterday by the MPP flag bearer. And then the day before, which was the Saturday, the NDC flag bearer said that he wants to reset this country. I think where we are, upgrade. What are we upgrading? The corruption? I mean, what are we upgrading? The fact that in Clico we have only one health center? Is that what we want to? So what is the meaning of the upgrade? Where we have a country full of nepotism? Is that what we want to upgrade? Because upgrade means improving. And so if I have 2 and you tell me let's upgrade it, it means you want us to go 4, 5, 6, whatever. And so if corruption is going on, and for the past 3 years consistently we've been ranked 43, 43, 43, what are we upgrading? The fundamentals are very weak in this country. And the only thing we need in this country is to do a reset. And that is the most important thing. We don't need an upgrade. We need a reset. And that is an absolute fact. Well, all too soon, this is where time will allow us. The number of messages that have come in and I'm not able to read, please forgive me. But I believe strongly that to a very large extent, we have been able to engage you as I promised earlier on. I want to thank Dr. Princess for making time to join us this evening. I want to thank you, my viewer, for also making time to join us in this evening. This coming Wednesday, this show is going to be repeated on this same platform, TV XYZ, at exactly 11 a.m. I want you to make time and watch it again. Those that could not make time, prompt your friends and family, loved ones to also make time to tune in. As we prepare for next week, Monday, 2 o'clock, I want to see each and every one of you at the NAT Hall or the Teachers Hall, 2 o'clock. And then in the evening, we'll all congregate again here where we'll continue with your favorite transformative program, Politics and Beyond. Till we meet again next week, I am still your host, Emmanuel Wilson Jr., the Chief Crusader Against Corruption in Ghana. And all I can say for now is good night.